The last thing I want to talk about are GMOs. And so this is the closest thing to a farm I could find. So we are here at the White something park in Swanee, and it's like a community garden. You can rent a plot and do your gardening here if you don't have garden space at home. And they have this lovely barn up here. So just some questions about GMOs for you, and see how well you've retained the information about GMOs that we talked about in class. Okay, number one, when were GMOs first introduced into our society? And if you said the mid-1990s, then you are correct. And if you can read the water tower back there, it's got the White Street Park. Okay, number two. So, what are some possible problems with GMOs? And if you answered that we don't really know, then you are correct. And if you answered maybe some allergies and some other problems, then you are correct with that as well. How about some of the benefits? What are some benefits of using GMO crops? And if you mentioned that we get a higher yield, that is a good thing. If you mentioned that the crops are more insect resistant, that is a good thing. If you mentioned that we can grow more crops per acre, that is a good thing. We get bigger crops, we get healthier crops, and so it can help to alleviate the food problems worldwide eventually, but we don't know what their medical issues will be in the future. Long-term use, long-term eating. And let's see, what exactly is a GMO? Well, it is a genetically modified organism, and they make them by taking the genes and changing them. So there's different DNA than the original plant. They can do this to animals too, but we're just talking about the crops here. And so they actually change the genetic makeup. Sometimes they insert a gene from one organism into a plant to make it more resistant to a bug or a disease, or more drought tolerant. And the last thing is, can you think of some particular crops? Which crops actually undergo, or which crops do you think you might find at your grocery store that are genetically modified? Oh, if you mentioned corn, soy, canola, tomatoes, papayas, sugar beets, then you are correct. And yes, you have had genetically modified food. Yes, it is in your grocery store right now. It's also in a lot of the products you eat. So anything with high fructose corn syrup probably has genetically modified corn used to make that syrup. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next instructional cycle for another set of videos.